What's up? Patrick LaRouge here from Evolve Restorative Therapy. You can find me at livepainfreeprocess.com. I have a pain-free concierge service that's designed to get people to really change their lives. Enjoy what they're doing, how they're doing it, and actually feel good while doing it. And a lot of times you won't even know that it's happening because you're just walking along and things are just becoming easier and easier to deal with. So I do that by teaching you my Live Pain-Free process. My Live Pain-Free process gets you to see the world completely different. I get you to see that your physical body is doing things differently because of the way that you're addressing the physical body and realizing everything that you're learning within the physical body, you're actually doing it to learn the language and the dialect that your body is speaking. Now that's a cool concept, completely different, and we'll talk about that more in the process itself, but the dialect that you speak is what you need to understand of your body. Now, in the mental aspect actually gets you to see the world as different components. You see what's happening outside in the world, and outside the world is going to happen, and your body's going to feel something internal about it. You have to take both of those and come up with what you want to do with it. By you seeing that consistently, you're never caught by surprise. Then, on the emotional side, you have to always stay balanced. And staying balanced is a tricky aspect because you have to understand what both of those things are happening. What's happening in the physical body, what's happening in the mental body, and they equate to what's happening emotionally, right? All that is key. And I wrote an ebook about it called Me First. Me First puts yourself first so you can start actually learning about yourself and then addressing the world accordingly based off of what's proper for you so you don't always consistently get put down. Now, that's where we're going to start today. Today's conversation is all about boundaries. The question came in based off the book is, we talked last week about speaking up. And then the next question I ask people is like, I'm having trouble with this whole concept of boundaries and what I have to do and how I have to do it. How do you create boundaries? So it's very simple in that aspect. Everybody thinks about it this hard way. Once you realize that you're full and you're doing things for you and there's no reason for it to feel guilty, boundaries come really, really easy. What I'm going to now break it down is in a couple different ways. Breaking down boundaries is, number one, all about keeping you safe. It's all about safety. All about safety. That's number one. All about safety. You need to keep yourself safe. In the last week I talked about vulnerability is what makes you grow as a human being. But getting beaten up consistently puts you down. We do not want that. So we have to create boundaries about this. Once you create those boundaries, then things get easier and easier for you to come out of your shell. But first, you have to keep yourself safe. So you need to actually list all the things that you that you want to create boundaries around. And then you want to ask yourself one question. Yes or no? Yes or no? Or no? Yes or no? Do I want to do that or I don't? If it's a no, just say no. I'm not doing it. It's a full, complete sentence, by the way. No. Don't ask me to do that anymore. This is something that in the future you shouldn't do. If you just say no to that one thing, that person might say it again later. But if you say for the future and from now on, please don't ask me to do that because I won't. I don't feel comfortable doing it. I don't like doing it. Remember, if you're going to speak up, tell them why. In my heart, I feel this is bad for me. Then, if it's a yes, that's when your next step comes up, right? The next thing that you have to do is start a conversation about it. Because this is not just about you, even though it's me first. It's about balance between the two people that you're interacting with. It's that relationship. We're not trying to be selfish. This is not selfish me first. This is about creating balance where both of us win. That's the game. That's where a lot of people got this twisted at first. Had to answer some questions like, oh, isn't it selfish? Isn't it selfish? It's not. You know, this book is not about me teaching you to be selfish. My book, Me First, is all about you getting to balance your life with everyone around you, where they're not beating up on you. They're actually helping you. That's what we truly want, right? So once you get to the yes and say, you know, I'm willing to do that, but we have to create some boundaries around it. How do you do that? You just say, let's find the sweet spot. how can me and you work together to find this out? I'm not willing to do this. And what we did is now create a conversation around that. And then your boundary will be projected around that if you do so. If you're willing to work with your significant other, willing to work with your kid, willing to work with anyone around you, coworkers, boss, anything, you create a sweet spot saying, I'm willing to do this, I can do this, I feel comfortable doing this. Are you okay with that? And there you go. So you don't have to say, this is how it's going to be. You just have to say, but this is what's happening and how it's happening, but I don't really feel comfortable. And it turns into a conversation that your boundary is created between both of you, which then it's mutual. Then it's balanced. Then it's something that's easy for you to obtain. That's the ideal way you want to create boundaries. But if it's something like that's going to not make you safe, put you in danger, put you in a place that you don't want to do, and you're still willing to do it, you have to actually know what's going to happen in the future, and this is that mindset aspect, that mental aspect of the living process, and say, all right, we can go to this party, but when I go to this party, I want to be able to do this, this, and this. Like, I want my friends to stay by me at all times. I'm actually speaking of a client doing this. I want my friends to be next to me at all times. No one leaves me alone. I want to be able to hold the keys, right? And I want to be able to have a phone call, like my phone with me, where someone's always going to be able to pick up the phone. If that's okay, then it's fine. Boom. It was easy breezy because she created the boundaries. Now, that's ideally what I want you guys to do. So play with this tip. Please comment down below and tell me what you think about creating boundaries. Like, what is your style of creating boundaries? Because this is just one. Finding the sweet spot by making a conversation is just one. You can do the hard boundary step, but I want you to start talking, communicating, giving other people ideas on what to do is ideally what my goal is. So please, comment down below and say something. Say, this is what I think about boundaries. This is what I think about other people putting up boundaries. You know, how do I feel about the concept of boundaries? Or you just don't have any. All right, so until next time, see you later.